Okay, so this video is about Amia again, and I want her to think about these things here. I don't know if she'll ever get the video, so whoever it may help, hopefully it helps them. So, in a nutshell, I have a higher opinion of women than everyone else does, especially the governing class. But listen carefully. In a sense, I have a lower opinion of females who are not women, who never truly grew up, who aren't virtuous, right? Ver in virtue means man, and the word woman has the word man in it. So a true woman is someone who's virtuous, who has her humanity intact, and who wouldn't treat me out of my right to lead because that's wrong. It's the essence of wrong. And I'm the most righteous person that ever lived with a universal scale. See my Proof from Christ playlist. Whether or not you're religious, you should see that these are universal moral truths that I talk about, moral absolutes. And even if you don't accept it, that is absolutely true. It's the overwhelmingly logical assumption, and only a crazy person ignores what is the overwhelmingly logical assumption and does something else. For example, you don't just throw a kid off a cliff because you don't know for sure the child is going to die. Okay? And you would think the person that did was insane, and the judge should send him to prison, and so on and so forth. And so it is with what is the right thing to do, who should lead, what have you. So now let's talk about Fred, from Scooby-Doo, and Gargamel from the Smurfs, and Lex Luthor from the Superman comics. All three of them live a destructive life, a self-destructive life. Now, why is that? Well, to help you understand, I'm going to use the example of music, okay? So, you have different genres of music, right? Classical, rock and roll, R&B, rap, reggae. These are the ones I'm going to use as an example here. So if you're me and you're the top martial artist ever possible due to tech breeding, cheating, and generational ill-gotten gain ruling out people in the future, and you listen to classical music, where my mind goes is different than somebody who's playing the game. Someone like who Fred represents in Scooby-Doo, a very shallow person, social norm fanatic, kind of fraternity-like, where his brain goes is different. When he listens to rock and roll, say this song by Amy Holland that's on the Scarface soundtrack, where it talks about there's just another conspiracy, and she wants the dark spirits to stay away from her. She comes off like a very shallow psychology loving person, right? A psychologist or someone who bases their life in psychology instead of reality. And so when someone like her listens to that song, her mind and her being go to a different place than where my mind and my being go. Okay. And whether you're monotheistic or atheist, you should still have a certain understanding for what a being is. And so it is with R&B, right? Either you're a narcissistic idiot, or you're someone who really understands what love is, which is very rare. I'm one of the few people that ever lived kind of thing that understands it, so to speak. And you're something in between. So where your mind goes when you listen to R&B, same with reggae. Either you're just kind of shallow, fake, controlled opposition person, or you're a really heartfelt person and you're really listening to Bob Marley, right? The Natural Mystic song, So Much Trouble in the World, okay. One Drop, right? I Know God Never Let Us Down, what have you. Okay, We and Them, and all these songs about the oppressor and woe to the downpresser, and they eat the bread of sack tomorrow, and so on and so forth. So it hits differently, right? You exist in a different state as you listen to it. And so it is with rap. Sometimes they have songs that are more religious, songs that are more kind of heartfelt, what have you. So now when Fred listens to these songs and these types of music, he's shallow. He probably doesn't like rap, maybe doesn't like reggae, what have you, based on his character. Animus means spirit, and animation, what have you. And so when he wants to date a female, he's bringing her down, just like Axl Rose or Marilyn Manson, right? They're in a state of self-destruction. We said in Revelation, right, where there's a cloud, and underneath the cloud is the armies of Gog and Magog, and they're hurting themselves and each other, and they're bringing down the world. And on top of it, the righteous gathered into the sun, on top of the cloud, where Christ is symbolized by the sun in Psalm 19. And the righteous are transcending, and they're going up. People going down are everything from, Marilyn Manson, biker gangs, the worst of them, the worst individuals, serial killers, to people more like Fred. People in suits in nice restaurants trying to be a gentleman, right? It says in Shakespeare, the Prince of Darkness is a total gentleman, right? Not really, but in that kind of superficial, kind of white social norm sort of way. Neo-colonial social norm, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Now, So he's bringing her down and confusing her with the Luciferian light, right? The devil masquerading as an angel of light, blinding people to the true spirit of God. But if I date a female, there's that virtue, there's moral precision, there's these things in reality, and to the person who's shallow and doesn't really understand them, they know that the logical assumption is with me. Everyone listen to this video unless they have lost their mind, like completely. They see an overwhelming amount of evidence that the logical assumption is with me. Who else talks about these things this way? Some black guy in a cult, you should see through that. Some guy allowed to get a lot of views, you should see through that. With the top martial arts ever possible, the top martial arts challenge since 2013, $100 million. If I'm compensated, pay nothing. If you lose, $50. It's a show. 23 witnesses to them persecuting me. The overwhelming logical assumption, the sound conclusion is that I'm right. And I'm Mr. Right in his right mind, on the right path, doing the right thing. He's telling you the truth because that's the right thing to do, and who's righteous, and so on and so forth. The right point of reference, the right role model in reality, not some guy like Fred, who they don't try to stigmatize and demonize because like the whole system is designed to try to elevate the Freds of the world. The golden boys, right? It's kind of like Oscar de la Hoya minus anything he did wrong in popular culture, so to speak, in that sort of propaganda way. A golden boy, right? General Petraeus, what they're trying to portray, right? The word imposter is a play on words for I'm and second word poster. And so on and so forth. Propaganda, lies, theater arts, illusion, L-U shun. The good guy finished last. Why? Because you're too busy dating the Freds of the world, and quite often people see the ugly demon inside of him that's willing to bring women down because he's too much of a coward to carry his cross for what's right and accept being persecuted for what's right. So, in the end, I chastise everyone, and a true woman would rally to me. And a true woman knows that I'm the most righteous guy that ever lived, the most sought after guy by true women. So therefore I deserve a beautiful woman that I'm madly in love with right away. And that's something a romantic person looks for, right? Her beauty on the inside made her beautiful on the outside. It completes this narrative of this righteous man comes to earth and looks for true love and that he feels right away. Nearly impossible to feel that with somebody who's been in like a horrible accident, for me specifically, because I have this inner understanding that God needs to be honored by a beautiful woman who's beautiful inside and out. That's a more complex discussion for another day. Psalm 45, your beauty will make the king desire you, right? Inside and out, mind, body, soul, spirit. The top martial artist, right? Destiny, and so on and so forth. So some people might be confused there, might be thrown off there. But if you think about it a lot, because a lot of their kind of set the deity of evil and rape in ancient Egypt, rape by confusion, deception, misdirection, psychology, right? His name is a play on words for set the stage, settle, and set up. They're trying to get you to believe that the righteous person should be kind to a fault in a way that's cruel to him and God and to humanity by settling and doing what his heart is not desiring. Someone else is the person who's supposed to choose the female who isn't so beautiful outside but beautiful inside. That's a complex discussion for another day. Like the whole world is made by in terms of the whole psychological construct of the world is made by the devil to confuse you about that. And he wants to try everything he can to keep me from an attractive female who's beautiful inside and out because it messes with his head for him to see that. He's some arrogant Fred. He's some ugly, Freddy Krueger, right? There's Fred on the inside for you. And so I have the utmost respect for women. That's what all adult females are supposed to be. And have an extreme resentment for females because they're in the way. Because a lot of times they're attractive and they don't do the basic work on the inside to be beautiful inside. They're too busy cheating me out of my right to leave. They're saying, hey, but I'm a Jew and I should follow the Jews. That's ugly on the inside. They say, but I'm a Catholic and I should follow the Pope. That's ugly on the inside. They say, I'm in the military and I should follow the general. That's ugly on the inside. And so on and so forth. They don't do the basic work to understand the moral absolute that it is the worst form of evil to cheat the most righteous person ever possible out of his right to lead and his right to have a strong following and a strong support network in order to do the righteousness on the highest level. They don't have that basic understanding that an adult woman is supposed to have. An adult female is supposed to have, and that's what makes her a woman. She has that understanding and follows through. A little girl follows her emotions. An adult woman rewires her brain to be morally precise to the best of her ability, and she wouldn't dream of cheating me out of my right to lead. And this has everything to do with romantic justice and why sex has everything to do with a lot of things, including politics, as much as that's a despicable word and idea, and social life and economics, what have you.